Hey, how do you learn a solo the fastest way possible? And this is really a subject where you can save some time. But first of all, I don't recommend learning solos. I see, guys, because we approach it the same way we do. If you watch the previous video and my thoughts about, practicing songs versus practicing skills, you also know that, practicing an entire solo note for note is like practicing a song, the chords of a song. And while that is it's a good study, right? I use solos as a study, and I always did that. I looked at them and say, what scales is he using? If I take those notes out in bar 3 over that A minor, what scale is that? What arpeggio? Oh, that's what he does. So it's a study. It's a learning process where you kind of learn it only to steal the fundamental ideas of what tools he's using. But if you want to learn it from start to end, because you can, if that's your thing, if you think that is the most fun, and that's what engages you, that's what makes you practice, then by all means do so. But it will take you a disproportionate amount of time learning that solo compared to learning the individual skills you need in order to play that solo. Because most people, when they practice solos, they don't really have the skills to learn the solo. So they work on their skills as they try to play. And that's really inefficient. You need to only focus on one thing at a time. You need to, to separate out, what is the skill I'm practicing? Is it alternate picking in combination with sweep picking? What am I doing here? And then you need to create little loops and practice those instead. But if you are at the level where, okay, I want to learn this solo now, this has been my dream, whatever it is, then this is the way to go about it. You take the first little part that you can learn in, say, like 2-3 minutes. Yeah. So you might have it on some tabs, whatever, and then you learn that little part. Just a little thing like that. And then you loop it endlessly. So you spend like a focused amount of meditation time just with the metronome. If this is the first part of the solo, right? Then once it's easy with the metronome, you take it to the TV, you sit down and go, because then you can get hundreds and thousands of repetitions in without thinking too much about it. When it's super easy, you forget about it. You take the next little part of the solo and go, you learn that. And do the same thing with the metronome so you get the timing right. And then you have that loop in your brain, so you really give your brain a chance to learn. Instead of taking out a chunk that is too large, you take out a little thing that you can and go back and forth like a maniac, like an idiot, right? And then the brain is going to go into that pattern, and that's how it learns the best, right? Once you learn that second pattern, you integrate the two. You take the two little patterns you've been practicing, you go back to the first and see if you can remember it first of all. And it might be a little bit, you might have forgotten some because now you've been practicing another pattern with your fingers, so you might want to get into it again. And then get back to the first. And then you integrate, you go. And you might want to slow down a little bit to do that. So, and you follow the same metronome first, if needed, then you take it to the TV. And there's no way you're going to put in that many repetitions if you're not being entertained as you do it. And most people say, oh, but then you can't focus. Then you will have all kinds of bad habits built in. No, that's when you're not focusing. If you're watching whatever sitcom on the TV, then you're not focusing on what you do. But that's not the case. That's what you do when you practice with the metronome. You take the first level, building the pattern, and then you get in all the repetitions endlessly, even though you can play it. You want to get to the point where it's just so freaking easy. I just, what? Okay, dinner, yeah, cool. Yeah, you're so, that's the level you want to get to, which is called mastery. You combine the two. Now you forget about that unit, that first unit of those two in combination. That becomes one thing for you because... Right? Then you forget about that. Then you learn the next little thing. You try to chop up the solo like this. Learn the next little thing, right? Then add another one, right? Follow the same method. Forget about the two first that you combined into one now. Then you do the same thing again with the next two pieces. Learn the first, learn the second, then combine them when it's easy, right? And then you take that chunk and combine it with the first. And you go endlessly again. You need to, and you need to be able to play that solo faster than you need to. You need to push to the level where it's so easy you can double, right? That's the point you want to get to, because that's the point where you can start putting in some focus on it. You can focus on something else than just playing the notes and really go. Start focusing on pinch harmonics and doing all that cool stuff, so it really sounds good. So don't stop at good. Stop at at amazing. Stop at when it's absolutely effortless. So first two, combine them. Next two, combine them. Then take these two chunks consisting of two each, combine that. Play it over and over and over again until it's super easy, right? Then do the next thing and the next in the same way. Take the next two little chunks, practice them, combine them, right? Take the next, combine those. So you have 4 now. Then you combine those. Now you have 2 large chunks. Then you combine those 2 large chunks, okay? So let me just repeat that if you don't got it already. It's like a tree where you take 2, becomes 4, becomes 8. So 1 here, combine it with another, bam. Forget about that. 1 here, combine it with another, Put it together. Now you have 4 little chunks in 1. That's 1 unit now. Okay, take that away. Do the same thing. Just go on in the solo. Take 1, practice that over and over again. The next, combine them. Forget about them. Take the next 2, combine them, and combine them now with, so you have another huge chunk of 4 pieces. So now you have 2 big chunks consisting of 4 pieces. Now you combine those 2, right? Now you have, half the solo. Combine those 2, play them over and over again until you have one thing there that you can remember and play easily. Continue in the same way. So you can you can learn, to play solos that are 64 bars long in this way. But you have to use this repetitive pattern of looping. That's the way the brain learns the fastest. If you take on too much, you will increase learning time exponentially. So you'll take on, this chunk instead of this and go, like I just told you, you'll just take the whole thing because that's much faster. That's what your monkey brain is going to tell you, but it's not. To the degree to which you increase this chunk, it's going to take you an increasing amount of time to learn. So you like quadruple and sometimes 10 times the learning time instead of taking little chunks, combining them and working in this tree. This is a genius way because it works in the most amazing way. You'll get so good and the end result, the quality of your playing will be just amazing. And the time in which it takes you to actually learn it to that level will be reduced by like 90%. So, and once you start doing this and you do it over and over again, you get better at it and then you get faster and faster at learning. So please use this, and please recognize that in the beginning it takes you a little time. Where should I cut up the solo? How much should I take? Is this too little? But gradually you could become better at making those decisions for yourself, and then you really take off and it is able to learn solos faster than anyone around you.